Hello. Um, I am getting on here today because today is the year anniversary of Botox injections that I got that completely changed my life. And I have been praying about whether I should actually make a video like this or how I should speak about this or even if I should speak about it. And I haven't really wanted to because number one, I don't really want to relive the last year of my life. Two, um, it's embarrassing. Just it's weird. It feels weird to do this. Three, a lot of people that I see and am around in daily life truly don't even know what has happened to me over the past year of my life. So it feels weird that those people don't know all about it, but that I would tell 1,000 people on Facebook or whatever about it. But every time I push it back and I don't have an hour to sit and because that's how long it's probably going to take me to make this video. I don't have the time to sit and do this, or I don't really want to do it. I don't want to even really talk about it. Something keeps on just saying it's important. It's important. And if I've learned anything this past year is that if there is a still small voice, you must listen to it. You must listen to it. So with all of that being said, I'm going to share just the raw and a lot of the details of what happened over the past year after I got these Botox injections. I feel like we are all trying to keep our health. We're all running from things like cancer, autoimmune diseases, all of it, right? We're trying to avoid illness. And I think that this is important. And the reason why I want to share my story is because I chose illness. I literally chose illness. I chose something that might be a chronic illness for me, maybe for the rest of my life. And I chose it. I chose it for a temporary fix. I chose it to have temporary results that made me feel good. And instead, I have had a journey straight from hell. So I just feel like it's important. I don't think a lot of us are educated enough, and maybe some of us are, but I wasn't, and that's why I want to share my story. So on November 15th, 2024, I went and got routine Botox injections. I had been doing Botox for 4.5 years. About 4 months before that, it was July, 4 or 5 months. I went and got 4 months. I went and got Botox injections, and after those injections, about 2 weeks later, I got really blurry vision, really blurry vision. And I was I hadn't really worn glasses or anything like that. I had a little pair of readers, never used them. And I was to the point where I'm at restaurants, looking at menus, I cannot see. I can't see my computer screen at work. And I'm like, what the heck? My vision just went like that. That's extremely weird. So I go to the eye doctor. He's like, you know what? You're 44. This can happen. This is kind of the age where you start losing your vision. So I'm like, perfect, great. So I get me my glasses, and I'm using my glasses, and then one day I forget I'm at work, and I'm like, I can see okay. That's interesting. And then I'm at a restaurant and I don't have them, and I'm like, wow, I can see it a little bit better. I still have blurry vision, but it's not to the extent that it was. So then, but I'm just living my life. So I go November 15th of last year to get these injections. Adam is with me. Adam's my husband. He's with me because we're about to run an errand after. I'm like, just come with me, blah, blah, blah. You need to see the pain that us girls go through for beauty. Get our injections. Come with me. So he comes with me. He sits in there with me. And that morning, though, as I was getting ready, I'm like, why are you going to do this? It's Friday night. You're going to want to have a glass of wine. I never have any wine after I get Botox or anything like that. And I was like, and then you kind of always get a little headache for a day or two after. I'm like, it's Thanksgiving week. Do you really? And I'm like, no, but it's Thanksgiving week. I need to get my injections. So I had this thing inside of me that was like, don't do it, Jenny. Don't do it. So I go and I sit down in her chair, and I'm like, something comes over me, and I get really nervous. And I said, and I mean, I've been doing Botox for 4.5 years now, so I've had it plenty of times. And so I say to her, hey, before you do it, is there any chance that this can like damage my vision? And she's like, no. I go, like, can it like make me go blind? And she's like, no. I go, okay, so like it can't cause blurry vision, because I feel like last time my vision kind of went weird. And she's like, no. She's like, the only thing that could happen is that we could relax the muscles too much and your eyes would just close. And so I said, okay. But in my heart, I'm like, I think she's wrong. And there was a still small voice that was trying to protect me, that intuition, the Lord saying, don't do it, don't do it. I moved forward. I got the injections. Later that night, my neck started hurting really, really bad, like almost like I had the flu. And I was like, crap, Hayden had the flu about 10 days before. And I was like, well, I thought I freaking dodged it. Probably have the flu. Awesome. So I start waiting, and I'm just waiting. I'm like waiting just to go down. I don't go down, but this neck still hurts. So for weeks, for weeks, but I'm going to kind of try to tell this to you like chronologically. So my neck is just hurting. I'm like, Adam, rub my neck. Adam, rub my neck. Adam, rub my neck. And so he's like, what the freaking heck is wrong with your neck? And I'm like, please rub my neck. My neck hurts all the time. So then as we like approach Thanksgiving, I am washing my face, and I'm like, oh my God, I have the biggest underground zit ever. What is going on? So it's like hurts, and it's like right here where my crow's feet were injected. And I'm like, this is huge. Like this zit hurts so bad. Well, then the zit grows and grows. And so finally I'm like, oh my God, I have like a horn on the side of my head. It had its own heartbeat. It was hot. I was like, it's infected, whatever it is. So I make an appointment with the dermatologist. I don't tell the dermatologist, oh, I just had Botox like 10 days ago. I don't say anything about it, because I don't think that this has anything to do with Botox. So I just go to the dermatologist. She's like, I'm like, this is like an underground zit that I think is infected. And she said, no, this is a solid mass. She's like, I'm going to inject it, but you're probably going to need an ultrasound on it, because let's just see if the steroid takes care of it. If the steroid does not take care of it, I want an ultrasound. So I'm like, okay, cool. So she injects the steroid into my my growth, or whatever it is. And I leave there. And there's so many details now that happen between then and then moving forward, but I'm just going to kind of make them quick. So I leave there. I wake up the next day. I am very, very weak. My muscles are very, very weak. And I'm like, oh man, like what is going on? I had some oysters the night before, and I'm like, do I have like food poisoning? Like I was super nauseated. And then as the days went by, I had like no appetite, which is very not a normal thing for me. And I'm just like, oh, no appetite, very nauseous, and just weak. Like I just feel so weak. So it keeps going. So now we are at like December 18th. I had my favorite things party with some of my favorite people, and I had a couple glasses of champagne, and I was not feeling well, but I just did it anyway, because it was my first time to even have alcohol since any of this happened, because I just felt so unwell. I just didn't even, like normally I'd have a glass of wine here or there, like on the weekend, and I was just like, oh, I just do not feel good. So I had some champagne with my girlfriends, and I woke up the next day and I was like, oh my God, something is so wrong. I was so weak. I had to carry like some heavy stuff at work that day, and I literally, like my arms were shaking. I was trembling. My heart was racing. I was noticing like in those next days that like I would eat food, and like a piece would go down like the wrong pipe, and I was constantly like coughing up like food. And I was like, why does it feel weird to swallow? So I'm like, this is weird. But I am just so weak, and I'm just so unwell. So it's finally now, it's Christmas break. I'm at my daughter's school party, and at the school party, I'm like starting to feel like something's like real wrong. Like something's real wrong. And I'm like feeling like brain fog and some mental confusion and just like I can't like get through in my brain. Like something's not right. So I'm like, oh my gosh, I bet I have a UTI, because never had a UTI in my whole entire life, ever, until 6 months after the first time I got Botox. And in the 4.5 years that I had gotten Botox, I had over 30 UTIs. Over 30 UTIs. I had no idea that they were tied to Botox. That is something that can happen, just FYI. I thought it was perimenopause. I had been to all kinds of doctors. They're like, there is no explanation for you to have this many UTIs. Like your pelvic floor is good, like everything's good. Like this is crazy, right? So anyways, I'm like, I wonder if I have a UTI. Because at this point, sometimes they would just be silent. Like I wouldn't even know I had one until I got like some brain fog or like just started feeling general malaise or whatever they call it. So I was like, surely I have a UTI. So it's like now the Friday before Christmas, I get on a Teladoc call and I get an antibiotic. That night I take my first antibiotic. The next day I wake up and I'm like, I have so much to do. We have 5 kids here for the Christmas break. Adam's kids are here for the break. Adam's dad is very, very ill and he is in the ICU. So Adam is like spending the majority of his days and evenings at the hospital. And I'm here doing kids, getting last minute Christmas stuff done. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna wake up, I'm gonna go get a manicure and a pedicure, I'm gonna power through, I'm gonna get whatever last minute Christmas stuff done. So I go to get a manicure and a pedicure. And I literally, I'm like, oh my God, like I can't even like hold my arm up. So I'm holding my arm up to get my nails done. And then this arm's like shaking as I'm holding this one. And then I'm holding this one up. And then to get my feet in and out of the bowl, I'm having to lift my leg into the bowl, lift my leg back. And I'm like, something's like super wrong. And I'm like, okay, you've only taken one antibiotic. This is a severe UTI. Like it's caused like a systemic thing. Okay. And I'm like, I'll take my second antibiotic. I take my second antibiotic. And then I get so sick. So sick. I am having like almost like my brain is not getting oxygen. My brain's not getting blood. I can tell my blood pressure is extremely low. I'm not taking it, but I'm like just constant, like the blacking in and out. I am so weak. I'm so weak. Everything weighs 100 pounds. I'm having trouble using my hands. My feet are tingling and feeling very weird. My face keeps on getting all this weird tingling. I'm having trouble finding my words and I'm having trouble getting words out and I'm getting really frustrated because I'm like I cannot talk. And I'm like, something is wrong. Like something is so wrong. So on Christmas Eve, I've had it. Like I am so scared. I go to church, I actually see Chelsea, one of my best friends at church, and I randomly walk up to her and I'm like, hey, my friend Chelsea and my best friend Chrissy, and they had known like I was going through kind of hell that month and like I was not doing well. And so I'm like, hey, I'm going to the ER after this. She's like, okay. And I'm like, no, like I don't know, something's like wrong. So I go to the ER that night. They completely blow me off. They're just like, oh, you have a virus. And I'm like, they test me for a UTI. I have no UTI. And I'd only taken 2 antibiotics, and normally 2 antibiotics won't come back with like a no UTI. But so no UTI, quit taking the antibiotics, you're fine. And so I'm like, okay, well, here's the timeline. Botox, steroid shot, UTI. They're like, no, none of that. You have a virus. Okay, all right, I leave. I'm like, no, I don't. I don't have a virus. I know I don't have a virus. I know I don't have a virus. So wake up Christmas morning, I can't even walk upstairs. I can hardly get from my bed to the living room. I am so scared, so unwell, not okay. And I'm noticing more and more that when I eat food, it's like just weird. Like I'm like, what is going on with my swallow? Something's weird with my swallow. So I go back to the ER Christmas Day and I'm like, hey, I know it's here yesterday. I am telling you it's not a virus. There is something wrong with me. Could I be having a reaction to any of this combination of stuff? No, it's actually impossible. That could never happen. No, you're fine, blah, blah. I go, will you like take blood or something? Like, I mean, I'm going to pay for this visit anyway. Might as well. Can we just like look in my blood? My blood's fine. So I'm like, oh my God. So I come back and I'm just so frustrated because I'm like, this is not a virus. This has been going on for like off and on, just all these random symptoms for like a month. Like something is wrong. So I'm supposed to leave to go to California on a volleyball tournament with my daughter. Our whole family was supposed to go. It was like one of our Christmas trips. And my sister-in-law, her daughter is also, her and my brother, their daughter's also going to Kingsley. And so I'm like, I can't go. There's no way I could even walk through an airport. I can't even, like, something's seriously wrong with me. So they say, we're going to take her. I'm like, okay, cool. So in the meantime, this is now like right before New Year's, and I go to the hospital to see Adam's dad in the ICU with Adam. And this is actually the day before Adam's dad passes away. And so I go up there, and, you know, we're all kind of like saying our goodbyes and stuff like that. And I'm like, you know what? I'm like, and I'm not good, but I'm not going to say a lot about it because of the situation. So I'm like, I'm going to go get a Coke Zero. So I go get a Coke Zero. I take a sip. And when I go to swallow this Coke Zero, it's like my swallow completely freezes and like all the Coke like shoots back into my mouth. And I'm like, what the heck? So I like spit it out. And then a little bit later, I'm like, okay, I'm going to try that again. Like, that was really weird. I've never had anything like that happen to me. Something's very weird. I take another sip, same thing, into my mouth. And I'm like, okay. And then as I'm in there, I'm obviously getting anxiety. I'm getting nervous, but I'm realizing like I'm having trouble swallowing my spit. Like, and like my swallow is like freezing up. I'm also had been noticing since that morning, like I'm just like, can't get a deep breath. I'm like, have this like air hunger where there's just like not enough air. And I'm just like, I feel like breathing is hard. I have to think to breathe. And so I'm like, it's anxiety. You're dealing with like a super hard situation here. Adam's dealing with a hard situation. There's a lot going on. Like this other stuff, the swallowing and breathing, it just is. It's, you're okay. So as the day goes on, I'm getting worse and worse. So I tell Adam, hey, I got to go home for a little bit. So I leave. I call my dad. I'm like, I got to go to the ER. Like, I have to go to the ER. I want to go to Methodist Med Center. Something is wrong. I'm dying. I mean, I'm not being dramatic, y'all. Like, I was terrified. So I go to Methodist Med Center. At this point, I think I have to have either had a stroke or I'm about to have a stroke because I am having so much trouble talking, and I'm having the swallowing thing is like I can't even swallow. I tried to eat Cheez-Its. I couldn't swallow. I hadn't eaten no food that day except for my 2 sips of Coke Zero. I was having trouble even like swallowing water without it going down the wrong pipe, like down the right pipe and the wrong pipe at the same time, coughing. I'm like, I can't swallow. So I go to Methodist. I tell them everything. I give them every single thing that happened. They're like, it couldn't be caused by any of that. No, it couldn't be caused by the Botox. It couldn't be caused by the steroid injection. It couldn't be caused by these 2 antibiotics I took. No. Okay. So I get a CT scan. They do like a stroke protocol, and Diana, my sweet best friend and employer, she came up to the hospital to check on me because she knows, like, she's like, something's like super wrong. Like, this is not the norm. So they pretty much say nothing's wrong with you, go home and go see a neurologist. So y'all, it takes a very long time to go see a neurologist. If anybody has ever had to go see one, it's a 3 to 5 month wait to see a neurologist. And they didn't like refer me out to one. So I go see my PCP the next day. And mind you, Adam's at the hospital dealing with the hardest thing that he's ever dealt with in his entire life. And I'm over here like feeling like at the time that I am like fighting for my life. We're both completely separated. Neither one of us can be there for each other, which makes me so sad that I was not able to be there for him the way he needed to be there, me to be there for him. And so I am like at my PCP's office and I'm like, hey, I need a neurologist. She goes, I mean, I'll give you a name, but you're not going to get into like May. And I'm like, May? I'm like, no. So I let Diana know. We work in the medical device industry, and I'm like, I've got to get into a neurologist, like stat, like something is so wrong. And so she makes some phone calls, and one of our awesome sales reps was like, I got you. So they got me into a neurologist 10 days later. So I now have 10 days to wait to see the neurologist. In the meantime, I've gotten a ton of blood work done by my PCP. I've gone to a rheumatologist and gotten a full workup. I've told her everything, and she said, it could be the Botox. It could be. I don't think it is, but it could be. But now you're in a rule out process. And I'm like, yeah. So I still have not said anything to the spa where I've gotten the Botox from, because at this point, I don't really think it's the Botox. I think I'm dying. I think I have MS. I think I have a brain tumor. I don't know what I think I have, but I know I am super, super sick. And so Kelly and Matt come to pick up Evie for this trip. And Kelly says to me, hey, have you had Botox recently? And I was like, well, I mean, now it's been like a month, but yeah, about 4 weeks ago I had Botox. And she was like, okay, when you get a chance, do you listen to Ariel Laurie, her Well podcast or whatever? And I'm like, no, I don't even know who that is. And she was like, well, you need to listen to her podcast. Like, she got Botox poisoning and this sounds similar. And so I'm like, okay, well, I'm so sick, y'all. I don't just run back in and listen to this thing. I am doing, now Adam's dad has passed away. There's a lot going on at this house, and I'm just reeling, trying to figure out what's going on. So in the next couple of days, the next symptom that hits me is this anxiety that is actually, it's like nothing I've experienced before, and I've experienced plenty of anxiety in my life. This was like a physiological anxiety that is inside of your body that is psychotic. I literally would hyperventilate, throw up, roll around on the ground. I'm not even joking. Adam was terrified, literally terrified. I would call Chrissy, my best friend, and be like, I'm going to get locked in an insane asylum. Like, am I going to be able to raise my kids? Somebody is going to have to, like, I'm going to be locked up by the end of this. I truly believed that I was going insane and that I was going to be separated from my children. It was unlike anything couldn't swallow, couldn't breathe, had total body muscle weakness. And the scariest part of it all was the physiological anxiety and whatever psychosis was going on in my mind. It lasted for about 10 days. And as quick as it came on, it went away. Thank God, because I don't know. I don't know, y'all. Like, it was nothing like it, okay? And so anyways, so that's going on. And so I'm obviously not listening to the Ariel Laurie podcast because I am just trying to survive. I'm trying to figure out what is wrong with me and who's going to help me. Finally now it's time to go to the neurologist. I get into the neurologist. I see him. I tell him everything that's going on. He says, it sounds like you have neurotoxin toxicity. And he was like, it could have been a combination of the Botox, the steroid, and the antibiotic you took, all too much for the neuromuscular junction, and like neurotoxin toxicity, or Botox, some kind of Botox poisoning. And I'm like, okay, all right. So he's like, but now that you're here, he's like, it's a rule out process. He's like, I'm going to have to rule out a brain tumor, MS, ALS, myasthenia gravis, Lyme disease, Guillain-Barré, that's not how you say it, but that's what it looks like. And all these other like neurological autoimmunes. I had to get all this nerve testing done, muscle testing done. I had 8 MRIs over the course of 2 days. I was in an MRI machine for 4 hours, 2 days in a row. Like I said, I had to get nerve testing, muscle testing, and EEG, I believe, of your brain. Then next, I end up in the cardiologist's office because I start having these bouts of blood pressure where my blood pressure is 74/52. Y'all, like, that's low. That's low. And so I'm dealing with all this low blood pressure. It's like if I'm laying down, if I'm standing up, if I'm sitting, no matter what, I cannot get my blood pressure regulated. It is just low, 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 low. It's like hard to even function. So finally, I sit down, I listen to the Ariel Laurie podcast, and I am like, oh my God, this is what I have. I have Botox poisoning. Without a shadow of a doubt, I had not gotten any test results back yet. I was like, this is 100% what I have. This is what has happened to me. So it's like almost like a sense of relief started to come over me, even though I didn't have any of the tests back. But then I start reading, a bunch of people, there's thousands of women commenting on, like, she did a TikTok also, and I start reading it and I'm like, oh my God, like, I have this, and all these women, and they've all been gaslit, and they've all gone to providers and they've been ignored, and nobody's telling them that this could be it. Everybody is telling these women, couldn't be the Botox. That's what happened to Ariel Laurie. Couldn't be the Botox. So I am thankful because I did have 2 doctors that recognized that, yeah, it could be the Botox. So in the meantime, the owner of the place where I got my injections got word that I had started having these problems and was able to relay to me that I had neurotoxin toxicity and that essentially I had botulism. But not to worry, if I move my body and metabolize it out, I should be better in 3 months. Okay, move my body. I was like, move my body? I can hardly get from point A to point B. Move my body isn't really in the realm of options to metabolize anything out. And the other thing is that if you know anything about Botox, botulism, you can't metabolize it out. Botox doesn't leave through our kidneys or our liver. That's not how we metabolize Botox out. And I'm not going to get into how it all works, but I challenge you, if you do use Botox, do some research on how you get your movement back and where that goes, because it's very interesting and it's also quite terrifying. So with that being said, I'm like, okay, 3 months. Okay, all right. 3 months. 3 months. So I get all my testing back from the neurologist, and he's like, hey, it has to be Botox poisoning. You are 100% healthy. And you guys, I just want to back this up and say, prior to this, 0 health issues. 0. None. Some acid reflux. That's it. 0 health issues. Every single bit of blood work, testing, everything showed that I was a perfectly healthy human being. That there was nothing wrong with me, but I was so sick and struggling. Everything said I was perfectly healthy. So my neurologist then says, well, the one thing I can do a couple things to maybe help you. One thing is I can give you IV IG immunoglobulin. And so I say, or IVIG, which is immunoglobulin. But I can't get your insurance to cover it because everything here shows you're perfectly healthy. And so I would have to prove that you have Botox poisoning. So he starts searching the entire state of Texas for testing for botulism. He cannot find a lab that will test for it, because the way that you test for botulism isn't just like, oh, they take your blood and they find the bacteria. That's not how that works. It's actually called a mouse bioassay. And what they do is they take your blood and they inject it into a mouse. And if the mouse dies, it means you have botulism. So they don't just have those tests floating around at Quest Labs, around Houston, the Houston area and Texas. So there's no way to test me. So my insurance can't cover the IV immunoglobulin. This treatment's like $20-something plus $1,000 to get one treatment. So that's not an option for me. And mind you, I'm already out at this point, hunting this illness down in the very early months. I'm already out like $5,000, just trying to figure out what the heck is wrong with me. So he's like, or we can throw some steroids at it. And I'm like, I don't know. I don't really want to roll the dice at this point. And he's like, or I can give you something that we use to treat myasthenia gravis. And so at this point, I'm like, I'm not putting anything else into my body. It's a wait out process now. And he said, other than that, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to treat botulism. And I'm so sorry. Like, I don't know how to help you. So a lot of the reason why I wanted to make this video is in that right there. If you do get this rare spread of toxin, no one can help you. If you go to the hospital multiple times and tell them you got Botox and you have every symptom on the black box warning, you will not get the antitoxin. Because A, you will be gaslit. They will not say that it is from this. B, you don't get the antitoxin. That comes from the CDC. They have to like bring it in. You won't get the antitoxin unless you are dying. Unless you are literally dying and you can't breathe. So let me just read you the black box warning on Botox, okay? Because I don't think I ever truly read it. And if I did read it, I didn't truly like process it or understand that like this can happen to anyone. This isn't reserved, like this isn't reserved for like special people. Like, why would it happen to me? Like, it can happen to literally anybody. And it says, Botox cosmetic may cause serious side effects that can be life-threatening. Get medical help right away if you have any of these problems at any time. Hours to weeks, y'all. And that's where we get tripped up, is because if the reaction doesn't happen right away, you think, oh, it can't be from the Botox. That was 2 weeks ago. That was 4 weeks ago. No. Hours to weeks after injection of Botox cosmetic. Problem swallowing, speaking, or breathing due to weakening of the associated muscles can be severe and result in loss of life. You are at the highest risk of these problems. You're at the highest risk if these problems are pre-existing before injection. Swallowing problems may last for several months or a year. I'm at a year and I still have swallowing problems. Spread of toxin effects. The effect of botulinum toxin may affect areas away from the injection site that cause serious symptoms, including loss of strength, all over muscle weakness, double vision, blurred vision, drooping eyelids, hoarseness, change or loss of voice, trouble saying words clearly, loss of bladder control, trouble breathing, and trouble swallowing. And then again, on the back, it says, other side effects of Botox cosmetic include dry mouth, oh yeah, discomfort or pain at the injection site, tiredness, headache, neck pain, eye problems, double vision, blurred vision, decreased eyesight, drooping eyelids and eyebrows, swelling of your eyelids, and dry eyes. So yes, dry mouth and dry eyes for about 7 months. Totally terrible. But in this black box warning, this is straight off of Botox Cosmetics site. In this black box warning, it says 3 times that it can cause blurry vision. My injector told me it cannot damage your eyesight. It cannot. Okay? So we have to educate ourselves, y'all. Like, you have to be your own advocate. What I should have done before I asked her, even though thinking she was the professional and she would for sure know, and even though I trusted her, I'm not saying she's a bad person, she's lovely, but I should have done my own due diligence on what I was putting in my body. I should have researched it. If I would have just decided, hey, I'm gonna pull that black box warning and read it, if I would have read it and saw 3 times it said blurred vision, I would have never gone back in there that day. I would have never gotten Botox again as long as I lived. But anyways, that's a sidebar. So with all that being said, now I am left to advocate and recover on my own, with no help from a doctor, with no help from anyone. I am left to figure out how the hell to get well by myself. All the while being a single mom, even though I'm married to Adam, he has his kids 50% of the time, there's 5 of them, it's a lot. I am a full-time single mom to my 3 children, who at the time were Hayden was on a swim team that traveled. Evie was on a volleyball, 2 volleyball teams, and one of the volleyball team traveled all over the freaking world. And then Hallie, who was on a local volleyball team that was very busy. I didn't have anybody that could just pick up my slack and do my life for me. And also a very, very busy and serious full-time job where I am needed at my job. And I have the literal most amazing employers that like anybody could ask for ever in their entire life. And they were so gracious and so kind. And I was able to work through this whole entire ordeal, and they were amazing. But there was no like crawl up on your couch and like get well. It was like, you're going to Kansas City on a volleyball tournament. You're going to go vomiting your entire way to Chicago on a plane because you have vertigo so badly you cannot even hardly function. You're going to go to Florida. You're going to go to New Orleans. You are going to just freaking have to do your life, and there's no choice. There's no choice. It's not like you have Botox poisoning. Nobody cares, essentially. Like, so now I am left to figure this out. And so in the next months, let's just say after 2 months of getting through it, getting my diagnosis, figuring out what the heck was going on, now it's figuring out, when does this end and what do I do? So from there, I mean, I didn't mention this earlier, but I had lost 12 pounds in 10 days, y'all. 12 pounds in 10 days. I literally, for the first 4 months of 2025, I could not eat normally at all, like at all. I mean, I was hit or miss. I could sometimes get something down earlier in the day, and then as I would talk and work and whatever, my swallowing muscles would get weaker and weaker, and then that might be it. I might get in like some fruit and a little bit of yogurt, and then I'm done. I would make dinner so many nights, and I would sit down and I would take one bite and I would aspirate on my food and say, well, guess I'm not eating dinner. That went on for months. I was down to what I weighed in the 8th grade. And just, and you know, when you're hangry, it's freaking terrible, especially when you're super busy. So I'm doing all of that. That's all going on. And then on top of that, I have this new symptom that has come about, and it's like this extreme jaw pain, like extreme jaw pain. Nothing, like I've never felt anything like it in my life. Like I would get through the day, and by the end of the day, I was talking like this. I talked to my best friends, Chrissy and Chelsea, every day on the Marco Polo. And I would get on the Marco Polo and I would just be like, hey guys, y'all, my jaw hurts so bad. Like I'm so done. And I mean, excruciating jaw pain. So I'm dealing with all that. I'm having trouble breathing. And then I start this thing at night where my breathing is getting better during the day, and I'm like seeing a light at the end of the tunnel with the breathing. But then at night, as I would drift off to sleep, it was like my body would forget to breathe. And I mean, it's the craziest feeling, but I would be like drifting off to sleep, and it would feel like I was going into like a black hole. And then I would, and then I would wake up at him and I'd be like, I can't go to sleep. If I go to sleep, I'm going to die. And that went on, gosh, I just burped, y'all, I'm so sorry. That went on for about 5 months, almost every night. I would wake up and tell him over and over again, I'm gonna die, and just cry. Like, I'm gonna die. If I go to sleep tonight, I'm gonna die. Like, I can't go to sleep because I'm gonna die. And he would like scratch my back and like try to talk me through it. I'm like, and then I would eventually go to sleep, and thank you, Lord Jesus, I didn't die. But it was pure hell. It was pure hell. So then months go by. I'm starting to get around a little bit better. I can finally make it around my block once at like 7 months, I guess it was. I can finally like make a 1.5 mile loop around my block. I'm feeling like, okay, I'm making progress. And then I start getting just like so sensitive to light, so sensitive to sound, nauseous all the time. I mean, it's like I would wake up and I would be like, what do we have in store today, Lord? What's the next level of this disease? So anyways, this goes on and on and on. And I'll just basically get to where I am now. Finally, we get to like July. And I have had about 3 months where I can just eat normal. Finally, I was able to swallow a steak, which was huge. I had me and my son got to go to Perry's, and I got to have a steak, and I was able to swallow it. And I was like, I remember like texting my girlfriends and like, I swallowed a steak. Oh my God. Like it was like a victory. And so I'm eating everything in sight. We went on a vacation with Chrissy and Chelsea, and Chrissy's husband was like, holy crap. Like, you're like a freaking trash can. I'm like, yeah, I haven't eaten hardly anything in 4 months. I'm like, give me all the red 40, give me all the junk food, like just give me it all. So, and I couldn't drink, and I can't ever drink alcohol again, which I like me some wine. So that's kind of really sad for me. But anyways, so I'm kind of moving along and just, knowing that this is going to take a really long time. No, it doesn't take 3 months. So just, if you ever get this and the owner of your spa says, in 3 months, you'll be fine. It's not 3 months. This is not a 3-month recovery. This is a serious illness. It is botulism, you guys. It's serious, and it doesn't take 3 months. So I'm just waiting for it to end. So I remember being in church, and I'm going to just like share this because it's just like something that happened along the way that kind of like changed things for me. But I went to church in July, and I was like, I've been so mad at God about this, y'all. I was like, seriously, like, I'm so mad. Like, it was me and Adam's like first year of marriage, and Adam's dad was going through everything. And then passed away. And then we are merging and blending a family, which is the hardest, well, besides getting botulism, the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. And then I'm so sick, and with no help, with literally having to navigate between me and my friend Chrissy and Diana as well, and the internet, managing how to move forward from this disease, from this illness. And so I'm in church, and I just finally am like, okay, God, like, I am done. Like, I am so mad at you. Like, you've just left me. Like, you just left me here. Like, everything is so bad, and you just left me here, and like, you aren't helping me get well. Like, there's no help. Like, help me, like, cure me, something. Because I'm sitting in church, and my ears are ringing, and like, we have all these bright lights at church, and like, I'm like, barely can look at the bright lights. My blood pressure is just always so low now. So even just standing in church singing, I'm like seeing black the entire time. And I'm like, I'm sitting here, and I'm like trying to like praise you, and I'm sick, and I just like need help. Kid you not. 3 days later, I go to Cava, and I get a Cava bowl, and I'm just eating my Cava bowl, and everything in it's pretty high histamine. It's like feta and hummus and black beans, and I'm eating my Cava bowl, and about 15 minutes after I get done eating the Cava bowl, I'm like, oh my God, what is going on with my throat? And it's like from here to here, it's like itching, and I'm like, okay, what is going on with my throat? This is not like, and then my nose starts pouring, and I'm like, okay. And I'm like, what is happening? And then my throat starts swelling, and I'm like, my throat is swelling up. My throat is swelling up. Well, just FYI, if you have botulism, you really shouldn't have an EpiPen. You can't take Benadryl. You can't be sedated. There's like a list of like this many don'ts, because it will cause a relapse and it's dangerous for you. So I had to learn that from all the amazing support groups that I joined to navigate this illness. But so I'm like, what is going on? Well, I would say, I don't know the numbers on it, but most women who get Botox poisoning get something called mast cell activation disorder. And I had already just been like, thank you, Lord Jesus, that I don't have that, because that sounds like the next hell. And when my throat started tightening up and I felt like I was breathing through a straw, I knew exactly what was going on. I was having a histamine response to food that I've never had. I don't have one food allergy. And I was like, I have mast cell activation. I knew enough about it to know what was going on. And I was like, you've got to be kidding me. So I immediately went to a low histamine diet. And I remember writing in my journal, like, basically, thanks a lot, God. I asked you for help. I asked you to heal me. And instead, you gave me something else. And I was just so mad. So I went to a low histamine diet. I went to Dallas to see a mast cell activation specialist, and basically was told, like, here's a ton of pharmaceuticals. Good luck. It was not helpful at all. And I was like, I'm not taking all these pharmaceuticals. I don't know what to do. So I moved to this low histamine diet. And after the first 2 weeks that I was on it was pure hell. I was having reactions to almost everything I was eating. I was having either full-blown anxiety or couldn't regulate my blood pressure, throat closing up, all kinds of different symptoms. But then I got to about 10 foods. And I started just eating these 10 foods. And all of a sudden, like, all of the things that I was asking God in church that day, like, to heal me, everything started healing. And I was like, oh my God, I'm like clear-minded, like this insane brain fog lifted. My ear ringing, gone. My sensitivity to light, gone. My sensitivity to sound, concerts, I've done one concert, it's kind of hard. Sensitivity to sound improved by leaps and bounds. My blood pressure totally regulated. And I was like, oh my God, this is like the first time in a year that I feel like maybe I'm going in the right direction. Maybe I'm healing. So with that being said, I feel like God didn't answer my prayer the way I wanted him to answer it, but he literally was like, okay, this thing has to happen and it's going to suck, but it's going to be your pathway to healing. So now I am on a pathway to healing. I will say, just so you can understand that how bad this sucks. I am on 4 months of eating the same 10 foods. 4 months of eating the same 10 foods. The only seasoning is salt. If I go off of that, I've tried to introduce chicken back in, throat swelled up. I am 4 months. This is like literally no cheating. This isn't like a cheating thing. This is like, if you go off of it, your throat starts to close up. I'm extremely sensitive to scents, any kind of smells, colognes, perfumes. Everybody smells like garlic to me. Everybody. If you're near me, you smell like garlic. And I have to remind myself regularly that people don't. Everything, like my sense of smell is uncanny. It's so gross. I absolutely hate it. I can smell anything and everything. It's insane. I was in the car with Hayden and Evie the other night, and Evie was all sprayed up in her Glossier, and Hayden had on whatever he had on. And we had to drive 45 minutes, and then we were out of the car, and then 45 minutes back. And I wound up sitting in front of an ER for an hour and a half because I thought for sure my throat was going to actually seal closed. It was so swollen. And I was like, I'm not going in there because I'm not going to get an EpiPen. I know this will pass, but I can't be irresponsible. I have 3 kids to raise. I have to be alive. I mean, as long as the Lord will let me be, I have to be alive. So I left my house and I went and sat in front of the ER until the swelling went down enough to be able to function, and I came home. That's my new life. My new life is literally just, you don't know what's going to hit you when. But I am seeing a doctor that specializes in this, and she's like starting to hold my hand into healing. I'm seeing a functional medicine specialist that is also holding my hand on my way to healing. I have faith and confidence that over the course of probably the next year, that I will be in a much better spot, that I will hopefully be able to eat normal food again, that I will hopefully be able to have some of my life return. But like, just the residual effects of this, just so you understand how like serious this is. It's serious. Like I can't walk more than a mile consecutively. I went to the Nutcracker Market on Wednesday night, and I brought my own car for the first time ever. I normally go with friends on a party bus. I brought my car because I did not think I could make it through the Nutcracker Market. I made it through the Nutcracker Market, so I was pretty stoked about that. But I can walk around my block one time. My block is a mile and a half. And by the time I'm done, my speech is affected, my jaw hurts, and I'm done for the night. I'm done. I have nothing left in me. A mile and a half. I used to do Pilates. I used to wear my weighted vest and walk 4 to 6 miles a day. Like, I can barely walk a mile and a half. And if I do, I have side effects. Obviously the eating is a huge thing. It's really sucks. It really sucks. And for some people, this is their life. This is their life. They are on a limited diet forever. I'm praying that I'm not that person. I'm going to work my butt off to not be that person, but it sucks. It sucks that on Thanksgiving, I'm not going to have Thanksgiving food with my kids. I'm going to have cottage cheese and ground beef. I mean, it's disgusting. Christmas, I'm probably not going to have any kind of I'm probably not going to have one Christmas goodie. I mean, I'm not. I mean, it sucks. It could be way worse. I'm fully aware of that. It could be way worse, but I'm just sharing like this to just show like this has been hellacious, and it's been long, and it's been a lot, and it can literally happen to anybody. I am not special. I didn't have any pre-existing conditions. There's no reason it should have happened to me. It just happened to me. And I guess I just want people to understand that it can happen to you. If it happens to you, it's very hard to get it diagnosed. And if you get it diagnosed or you figure it out, then you are on your own to figure out the rest. You're on your own to figure out the rest. And my goal in all of this is it's my son's senior year. This is like so sucks to be sick during your son's senior year. But my goal in all of this has just been to like, and part of the God thing that I wanted to say is I kept on telling God, like, I can't believe you just left me in this. Like I had to go through all this stuff. Like I had to go on all these volleyball trips, and I had to just freaking fake it. I faked it until I made it. Like, there's probably people on here that were part of our volleyball team. I don't even know if they even knew what I was going through. I don't even think my brother even fully knew what I was going through, or my sister-in-law even. Like, nobody wants to hear about your illness. Nobody does. I mean, I'm just being honest. Like, I want to hear about your illness, but I'm just saying you don't want to just sit around and talk about all this crap that is happening to you. It sucks, you know? And so I literally went for a year of busting my ass, faking it until I made it. And now I look back and I'm like, that was God all along. That was God all along. He literally carried me through the busiest, messiest, in every way possible, messiest, personally and everything, hardest year of my entire life. I made it. I am a million times better now than I was when this all began. A million times. There's like a light at the end of this horrible tunnel. And I look back and I'm like, thank God for my job. Thank God that, because I mean, a lot of these women that get this, they take time off work. Like, that's not an option for me. Thank God. Thank God. That saved me. Work saved me, truly. Saved my mental health. Saved my physical health. I had to get up every day, put on makeup, blow dry my hair. Even if I was blow drying my hair, laying down like this, even if I was putting on mascara like this, it saved me. Going and doing all this stuff with my kids and just never stopping, it literally saved me. It was the hardest thing I have ever done in my whole entire life. But like, I look back and like, God carried me through that entire year. And even though I was mad at him and I was just so mad that my life had changed, I would not have made it through that whole year without God giving me like, you know how like when you have a newborn baby and you like have this supernatural like way that you're able to get zero sleep for like a year, Like, that's what God did for me with this botulism thing for this past year. Like, the fact that if anybody knows me, knows about my food. Like, it's like I'm a girl that eats, like when I met Adam, he's like, you're going to order that much? Yeah, I am. I surely am. If you ever say anything about what I order again, you're going down, buddy. Like, you're out. I mean, I eat and I love food. Like, that's fine. Like, you can have the wine, you can have the alcohol. I love food. And to be this restricted for this amount of time is like, it sucks. It sucks. But also too, like, I feel so much better. Like, I'm healing and like I'm getting well. And I'm like finally believe maybe that I'm going to get well. And so anyways, all of this to say, that is what the past year of my life truly looked like. That is truly what I have been doing the past year of my life, like literally just getting by and just educating you all, anybody that cares, anybody that is interested, anybody that gets Botox, anybody that is thinking about getting Botox. I'm going to tell you right now, if I had babies I had to carry and lift and care for, I would have been completely screwed. There's no way in heck. There's no way in heck I could have done that with young children. So like, if you have, like, it is a temporary fix to make you feel better about yourself. And that temporary fix to make me feel better about myself, honestly, let's just be real. So my Thanksgiving pictures that I took with my family, like, I would like the way my face looks better. And it's destroyed a year of my life. And I don't like saying that because I know God has something for me through this. Like, I know that. And this year of my life, it's shaping me for something. But I chose it. I made a decision that made me ill, that made me walk through a year of pure hell. And so I just feel like it's important. So anyways, thank y'all for listening. I know that was very long, but it just, like I said, I just feel like it feels important. All right, bye.